recently as Sunday, he told Fox News Canada would be, quote, much better off as a state. How concerned should Canadians be? How seriously do we need to take this?
So I think that we need to be absolutely concerned. I think Donald Trump is using all of the elements of national power that are at his disposal, even those that one could argue are beyond the authorities of the executive power, to enact his plans. And I think that the thing that concerns me the most, not necessarily Donald Trump's rhetoric, because I was in NORAD in Alaska and Colorado Springs during his first administration, and there was a lot of bluff and bolster. He signed an executive order to put troops on the northern border that never came about. But he is emboldened by this recent election, and he does not see the trappings of Congress and even the judicial rights of the executive power as limiting him. And to me, I have thousands of friends, personal friends and allies that I fought alongside in the United States, and there's been a resounding silence from all of them. The moderates around the United States are not speaking out and saying that this is ridiculous. That's not what we're hearing.
Can you break down for me, when we say take it seriously, what does that actually mean, and which part of it? Do we take the, when he said he would use force to enact it, do we take that part seriously? Do we take the elimination of the border line seriously? And what does that look like? What does that mean?
I think we take it all seriously. So I think that the Trudeau government and all of the provincial governments and all of the parties are doing a great job in unifying together and presenting a unified and bit-by-bit approach to each one of the measures that Donald Trump is putting in place, economically, with tariffs and all of the responses and the right rhetoric. But we have to have a long-term vision on this as well. Fentanyl is not going to be the thing that, changes here. The immigration policies are not going to be the things that changes, but we still have to fight on those battlegrounds for him, but we have to have a longer term vision. I'm not going to defend you. I'm not going to come to your aid. You're better off without us. You're not a viable country. These quotes are existential quotes, against Canada. So what we have to be concerned about is all of that, and we need to be prepared to go all the way with respect to the defense of our nation. We have to think about
what does all the way mean, Scott?
Well, I think that we need to be prepared to defend Canada against what was our greatest ally.
So are we talking about calling over Britain troops at the border with Alaska?
To be clear, none of our allies are going to come to our aid. If we thought that even during a NATO confrontation where, let's say Russia, as I prepared to defend Russia, attacked Canada, or even Canada and the United States, if we thought NATO troops from Europe were going to come over to defend Canada and the United States, we've got another thing coming. Those were not the battle plans. If Canada was attacked by Russia, the first thing that NATO would ask is Canadian troops to deploy to Europe to defend it. NORAD was really the essence of how we defended North America, even within a global wartime conflict. So, that becomes really problematic for us. Every element of Canadian national power needs to be brought to bear to be able to look at the long-term version of what it means to have a confrontational adversary south of our border, not an ally.
I want to pick up on something else you said, which is that we take all threads of this seriously. So you're right. Border has been taken care of in terms of security. We've talked about fentanyl already, but now this new line has come up, which is about critical minerals. And Trudeau says he believes Trump is interested in our critical minerals. We're rich with them. In 2023, Canada exported $83.8 billion in those minerals south of the border. So which critical minerals is Trump eyeing?
I think he's eyeing all of them. High-grade uranium, lithium, nickel, potash, rare earth minerals, and they vary as you go from province to province across the nation and into the north. So I really do think that it's about all 83 billion, but I also think it's not necessarily about that. But look, we thought that we had a relationship with the United States, a relationship that was based upon friendship and values, shared geography, shared values, where you would have this, placing the relationship above whatever else we're dealing with. We can have a tiff on one thing, but then obviously we'll come back to the relationship. We're seeing that is gone, that we're going to be dealing transactionally with this. And what I am seeing is that whether it's border, rare earth minerals, fentanyl, or whatever else, this is just the issue du jour coming out of the mouth of Donald Trump. And that is not the core issue. The core issue is We want you as the 51st state. Manifest destiny. We're going to expand America to include Canada, and that is not going to be a border. And we're going to take away your gun control, your birth rights, your women's health care rights, your universal health care, your right for your own manifest destiny as to what you think Canada is. And you would be better off without it. All Canadians think so.
Well, and
nothing could be further from the truth.
And I'm glad you picked up on that. We'll have to end our conversation there, but that's the new line. You'd be much better off. Just ask yourself what that actually means. Retired Major General Scott Clancy, always great to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.